Have you ever felt like you're not really sad, not really angry, not even anxious anymore? Just nothing? Like life has gone quiet inside of you. You still smile when you're supposed to. You laugh at the right moments. You answer people when they talk to you. But deep down, it feels flat, like someone turned the volume down on your soul. This isn't laziness, it's not weakness, and it's not your fault. This is something deeper. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, had a name for this. He called it emotional deadening, the quiet shutdown of the soul after years of being ignored, stretched too thin, or punished for simply feeling too much. If this sounds familiar, you're not broken, you're not defective. You've just been surviving for too long without truly being seen. You wake up, you go through your routine, you do what needs to be done. But it's like your spirit is far away, watching from a distance. People around you don't notice because on the outside, you look fine. You look like you've got it together. But inside, you feel like a ghost in your own life. It's not depression in the way people usually talk about it. It's self-abandonment. It's what happens when you've been everything for everyone and slowly become nothing to yourself. And it doesn't happen all at once. It begins with small things. You say yes when you mean no. You ignore your discomfort. You give your energy to others while ignoring your own needs. You push down your emotions to avoid conflict. You shrink your truth to keep the peace. At first, it looks like being responsible, like being mature. But slowly, it becomes your identity. You become the calm one, the easygoing one, the person who never needs anything, who never complains, who never breaks down. You become the version of yourself that hurts others the least, even if it hurts you the most. And over time, you stop feeling. Because feeling is too risky in a world that only rewards performance. So you adapt, you go quiet, you shut down. Not because you want to, but because your nervous system is stuck in survival mode. And survival mode is cold. It's not about joy, it's about endurance. So you endure until one day you wake up and you don't recognize yourself anymore. You can't remember the last time you felt truly excited, or the last time you cried just because it felt safe to, or the last time you wanted something just for you. You didn't go numb because you're broken. You went numb because you never felt safe enough to feel. And now, the mask you wear, the I'm fine version of you, is so well built that even you can't tell it's there anymore. But beneath that mask, there's a part of you screaming for something real. And until you listen, you'll stay disconnected. The numbness isn't random. It's not meaningless. It's a message. It's your soul saying, I can't keep pretending anymore. And the most painful part? Most people don't even see it. Because numbness is invisible, especially when you've learned to make it look good. But deep down, you know, you're not lazy, you're not cold, you're full. So full that your system had to shut down. Full of emotions you weren't allowed to express. Full of sadness no one gave you space to feel. Full of rage you buried under politeness. Full of needs you convinced yourself were too much. So you shut it all down to survive. You taught yourself to keep going, to smile, to stay quiet. Because somewhere deep inside, you believed, if I stop to feel this, I won't survive it. And now you're not falling apart. You're frozen. You're stuck between who you used to be and who you're too afraid to become. And the world sees you and says, you're so chill, you're so easygoing, you don't let things bother you. But they have no idea what it cost you to feel nothing. You've learned to function, but you've forgotten how to live. But here's the truth. Numbness isn't the end of the road. It's the doorway. It's the signal that something inside you is still alive, waiting to come back. And you can come back. Not by forcing yourself, not by snapping out of it, but by slowly, gently remembering who you are beneath the silence. That's the beginning of healing. It's not pretty. It's not perfect. It doesn't feel safe at first. It feels raw, uncomfortable, overwhelming. Because when you start to thaw out, the emotions you buried start to rise. Grief at the grocery store, anger while scrolling your phone, tears while washing the dishes. At first, it feels wrong, like too much. But it's not wrong. It's real. You're not breaking. You're defrosting. You're waking up. And that's where the real healing begins. You start to notice the small things again. The warmth of sunlight on your face. The sound of your own breath. The comfort in a song that used to make you feel something. You start feeling the way your chest rises when you laugh. Really laugh. Not just smile to be polite. And those moments, no matter how small, they matter. Because they are signs that you are coming back. Healing from numbness doesn't happen all at once. It's not a big dramatic moment. It's a quiet return, like slowly waking up after a long sleep. You don't remember the exact moment you fell asleep, but you know, deep down, that you've been gone for a long time. You begin to live in your body again. You notice how your shoulders tighten when you feel unsafe. You learn to release that tension, breathe through it. You begin to understand that your body isn't your enemy. It was only ever trying to protect you. You thank it. Then, slowly, you teach it a new way to live, one that isn't based on fear or performance. You stop calling your numbness a problem. You start calling it what it really was. A signal, a message, a sacred pause. You begin to journal again, not for answers, but to feel heard. You sit in silence, not to escape, but to listen. You start asking yourself honest questions. What do I need? What hurts? What brings me peace? You stop pretending you're okay when you're not. You stop saying I'm fine when your heart is heavy. You start telling the truth, even if it's messy. And this truth sets you free. You realize the numbness didn't make you weak. It helped you survive. But you're not surviving anymore. Now, you're learning how to live. You no longer see stillness as laziness. You see it as sacred. You no longer feel guilty for resting. You understand that rest is part of healing. That silence isn't something to be feared. It's something to be honored. Because within that silence is your soul, waiting to be heard. As you heal, something beautiful begins to happen. You start building a new relationship with yourself, not the self you were told to be, not the self you had to become to please others, but the self you left behind when you started to feel too much. The self who was silenced, the self who was ignored, the self who was numbed. Now, you're learning how to meet that self again. You don't rush, you don't force, you simply sit with yourself. You stop judging your feelings. You start noticing them. You name them without shame. I feel angry. I feel sad. I feel empty. And just by naming them, you begin to soften, because every feeling wants to be seen, not solved. You start asking your inner child, what do you need today? Sometimes the answer is play. Sometimes it's rest. Sometimes it's just, please don't ignore me again. You become your own parent. You become your own safe place. You stop looking for someone else to save you, because now you are the one showing up. You start enjoying your own company. The silence no longer feels threatening. It feels peaceful. You drink your coffee slowly. You walk without music in your ears. You sit with your breath and realize it's been with you all along. You begin to celebrate the smallest wins, noticing when you didn't shut down, noticing when you spoke your truth, noticing when you felt joy, even just for a moment. You stop being so hard on yourself. You stop expecting perfection. You realize that healing is messy, that progress is not linear. Some days you'll feel deeply, Other days, you'll go numb again. And that's okay, because now you understand. It's all part of the process. You begin to trust yourself again. You listen to your body. You honor your no. You respect your yes. You follow your intuition, even when it doesn't make sense to anyone else. You no longer betray yourself for love. You no longer abandon yourself for approval. You no longer sacrifice your peace just to be liked. Because now you know, your peace is priceless. Your presence is powerful. Your truth is enough.